welcome to the DivineFi True Freedom Podcast. I'm sitting here with Sam Hidja, top, partner in the system right now in this brand new freedom ecosystem that we created in really the last week. So this is our first official week wrapping up and got some exciting updates and want to share everything with you.
Exciting to say the least, for sure.
Yeah.
It feels like it's been at least a year. It's been like 8 days. Wow.
I think we accomplished more in the last 8 days than most in doing a year for sure.
That's an understatement.
It's been wild just keeping up with it all.
Yeah, for sure. It's been really awesome. Everything that's been happening just behind the scenes. So they don't see the 3, 5 a.m. nights, 6 a.m. nights, just connecting with people, just putting these pieces together. It's been fun.
So what's been your favorite part about the whole system?
I mean, there's so many different pieces. That's the thing. It's like everything that I've ever wanted in a system is all in one place under one roof. But I would say my most favorite thing is definitely the fact that it's eliminating the human error. And then also the integrity factor where it comes where like now we're putting it, and I don't want to like spoil some of the things, but the blockchain element where we're able to really just have a trust-based factor that is constantly, like I said, eliminating the human error for things, like whether it's just the recording of everything or the payroll or all of that stuff. It makes it so much easier. So the humans like you and I can kind of identify as human, right?
I don't anymore, but that's a whole other topic.
That's a whole other topic. We can focus on the things that are important, which is like connecting with people and innovating and being creative and all these things that, the AI and all that stuff can't do.
Yeah, that's been just yesterday, that revolution that I was talking to you about of just, wow, we've been doing this corporate deal and even in the network marketing world, they have that corporate section where people still feel like they need to be executives and have that whole team. And it just came to me yesterday. It's like, man, we don't need to do any of this corporate stuff anymore. AI can automate the entire process. We don't need any executives or titles or anything. Everyone should just be in the system building the network. Like you said, just doing the stuff that is fun and creative and that the AI isn't necessarily doing.
Yeah, it's funny because it's like that literally happened like a few hours ago.
Yeah, we have quantum leaps every few hours for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely fun. Keeps me on my toes. So it's something new that's constantly being innovated here, and that's one of my favorite things. We're moving at light speed. Not one to compare, anyways, but like we're doing things in a completely different way, in a different fashion here at DivineFi. So it's really fun. It's exciting. It's new. It's leading edge. It's pushing the envelope constantly. So it's like, what else? What else are we gonna do? And I know we've kind of discussed it a little bit. I don't know how far we're gonna take it in this podcast, but we're just gonna let it flow.
May as well spill the beans. Episode 1, they get it all.
Yeah.
Because tomorrow we know there's going to be another quantum leap that we're not even aware of today.
Yeah. So. Yes, I just love everything that we're doing. Like the blockchain element where we're creating our own chain, the coin, the token, the gamification of everything. I mean, I've never seen a company start to implement these things at such a fast rate, and also just be willing to step out of the comfort zone, step into the unknown, and do things and let go of control, right? Because a lot of people don't want to let go of the control of how things are ran and to just put it on, like, for example, like the blockchain and allow it to just deploy automatically. I mean, that takes a whole lot of trust on the people running the company. Like,
it's not a company anymore. That's
the community, the freedom
it's
ecosystem.
Like, is Bitcoin a company?
No, exactly. That's a good point.
Yeah, so that's exactly what we've created for the first time ever. It's a system that is self-sustainable, indestructible. No people can get in the way of it. And that's what happens to how many experiences have we had in the industry that owners mess it up, partners get in the way, leaders, whatever, egos and all that. It's like for the first time ever, it's just a software.
Mm.
So there's no humans get in the way. And that's what I was talking about eliminating all the corporate,
Yeah.
right? So it's just a system like Bitcoin, but you have all the elements of what you need as far as products and services to come together.
So I'm sure some of the people here are like, "What the heck are these guys talking about? I don't know anything." What they're like, what is this? What is this community? What is this ecosystem? And we're just like kind of went off the deep end. So maybe we should kind of dial it in a little bit and kind of give them a little overview of like what we're creating.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that is the base of it, is that it's created on the blockchain so that no one can stop it, no one can destroy it. The company can't fail because it's not a company, and that's why Bitcoin is so valuable. It's like it's indestructible. Nobody can change it, not even the creator of it.
Yeah.
So it's like creating an economy that is indestructible, that humans can't get in the way of, that there's no central systems controlling, and it just fuels everyone.
Yeah.
And the more they bring into the new economy, the more they receive in flow.
That's awesome. I love that. It's really well put.
Yeah.
This is a self-sustainable, regenerative system that basically pours back into the people, so we can create our own economy rather than utilizing the failed one. It's obviously
just so slow, right? Like
yeah,
it was good at the time, but it's just archaic and slow now compared to the technology that we actually have.
Yeah, it's interesting how fast this is really expanding. We're in 8 countries
in the first week. Yeah.
It's really interesting.
I mean, it's not even the first week because we're in pre-launch.
Yeah,
first people are catching week of pre-launch. Sure. So you've been talking to a lot of people last week. What have you noticed has been like the number one thing that people are resonating with?
I mean, people are just been looking for something, and they're like, "This is what I've been looking for." Number one, obviously, like I think one of the biggest things, like for example, I was talking to one of my buddies out of Chicago yesterday, and he was he's been in sales for probably over a decade. He's like a master salesman. He really, really liked the fact that we were bringing Dawn and the transformational process into the mix, because obviously a lot of different companies, they really stress the personal development aspect of it. But how many people do we know have, including ourselves, that have done personal development for 10 plus years and are still perpetuating a freaking self-sabotaging program?
Well, again, just like the fiat system, it's just the old, archaic, slow way to do it. Like for sure we had incremental progress, and we were successful compared to most that didn't do any personal development. But yeah, I did 16 years of it and hundreds of thousands of dollars. Like every day I had to spend time working on it. Like it took a lot of work, a lot of effort. And then working with Dawn, it was like everything, all my shit was gone in 2 hours, and it was like this completely different person without all the baggage. That was revolutionary, and that's something that's the cherry on top in the system, a bonus that people aren't even aware of that they need. And then they show up and get it, and they're like, holy shit, like this is actually what I've been searching for my whole life.
That's exactly how I felt whenever I met Dawn. Is like, this is exactly what I've been looking for. I mean a little bit about like what happened before I met Dawn, and it was crazy. It's like, I was just thinking about this yesterday. It's like, I literally was in freaking Balinese jail, one of the worst places to be in. It was like an 8 foot by 8 foot jail. There's literally black mold on the wall, and they're telling me like, yo, if you want to get out of this, possibly alive, because you could get the death sentence, you need to pay us $50,000. And I thought my life ended. And then not even a couple of weeks later, I'm like in the Philippines with you and Dawn. And I remember just like a year ago, I was freaking, it looked fun. Like people like that were watching me on social media saw me like traveling, all over Asia. But little did they know I was addicted to smoking weed every day. I was having issues with my ex-wife, was going through a divorce, was getting panic attacks every single day. I was on the 45th floor of my house in Malaysia, and I'm thinking about like jumping off. And then I meet Dawn, and like, in an instant, all of that's gone. And then now we're creating something unfathomable. You know, it's like life can really change that quick. And with Don's process, it's instant.
Mm-hmm.
And imagine all those leaders that have been at it for 20, 30, 40 years, and they're still having these. I mean, I don't know how many people I've seen personally, whether it's they're having to restart companies or going through divorces or addictions or health problems that could utilize, number one, our system, whether it's a financial system, whether it's Don's transformational program, any of those things. Like, people need this.
Like I said, the personal development is just such the slow way to do it. I mean, and that's the fast way compared to, like, let's say therapy. You know, I never did it myself, but I could only imagine. You could just see the people that have tried it. It's like you're going and talking about your problem for 30 years and not much has shifted.
Yep.
You know,
I've done the therapy. It didn't help.
you did it?
No, it didn't help at all.
That's awesome.
If anything, it made it worse.
Yeah.
Just sitting there talking about your problems and just sitting in it and like repeating it over and over and over and over again. And I'm not saying don't do therapy. What I'm just saying is there's better ways.
No, I'm just kidding. I never experienced it, but I can imagine how freaking slow and it just doesn't seem to work very well.
Yeah, we have a better way.
Well, for the person that's like, okay, what the heck happens in 2 hours? Like, seriously, with Don's program. I mean, the thing is that most people aren't even aware. I know I wasn't. Like, I thought I was going to Don just for some more personal development, like just to get the next level, you know, that next little incremental step. And it wasn't until after the process that I realized how fucked up I was. I didn't see any of that, you know, because when you're in it and it's mostly subconscious, you don't know how to deal with it. So for me, I was similar to you. I was like, I had the location freedom, time freedom, financial freedom, traveling around. It seemed like no matter how much money I made, I'd always find a way to completely get rid of it. Mm-hmm. But I at least knew how to create it again. But then I'd get rid of it again, then I'd create it again, right? So it was like that crazy cycle. Mm-hmm. Of just like having lots, then being broke, having lots, being broke. But I didn't even realize I was doing that. To me, it was just like, oh, that's entrepreneurship. It's, you know, that's part of success. You know, you just got the ups and downs. And now I haven't experienced any of those downs like since that program with Don. And then, like you said, the weed, it was like, oh, I didn't think I had a problem. It's like, oh, weed's natural, you know, like whatever.
It's a plant. Yeah,
just have a little bit every day. You know? just a little bit.
It's part of my nutrition.
Yeah, it's not a drug. Or the alcohol. Like, I never would have in a million years called myself an alcoholic, but after I did the program, I was like, holy shit, I was an alcoholic. But you find a way to spin it, like, oh, I was just celebrating, or it's because I'm traveling, or like whatever, right? Find ways to justify it. But the point is that someone might be listening to this being like, oh, I don't need that, like I don't have any addictions or whatever, not realizing that they're completely unaware because it's all subconscious, their toxic patterns and programs that they don't even know exist. And it's only until you get on the other side of that, when you're free of all the bullshit, all the limitations, all the BS, right? Belief systems, that you're like, damn, I was really playing small. Like, I was really limiting myself. I had no idea of who I actually was. So, like, what a priceless gift. And we just throw that in, you know, in the background on the side to the system.
Yeah.
People don't realize, pieces, like you said.
They don't realize how powerful and how valuable it is. And they don't know, like, Don's worked with billionaires and people have paid him $1 million for a session. And we're literally throwing it in to the community on top of everything else that we have. It's like, what in the world?
Yeah, for $100 a month's membership.
Yeah, this is definitely the thing, the system, the community that I wish I would, like, I got started with when I first got into the industry 12 years ago. Like, this would have been perfect.
Well, how many programs, experiences, like communities, systems, whatever, companies, how many have you been a part of, like, roughly?
Dude, probably like close to 10. I can't even count at this point.
Yeah, and then what about if you add on like the personal development programs and and the investments and the like how many are we talking?
Probably probably a couple dozen.
Yeah, at least.
Yeah,
right?
and like hundreds of thousands of dollars invested. And
Yeah.
I mean, and the thing is, I wasn't like crazy into partying after I got into the industry. Before, when I was a kid, I started partying at like 15. I remember like taking my dad's car at night and just going. I got started partying like super early. So when I got into the industry at like 18, I was done with the party life. And so I was, even though I was like spending a lot of time at home reading and going to seminars and workshops, I still had all of those smoking weed, and then listening to like Esther Hicks, you know,
yeah. I did that one. Yeah.
Like, even with all of that, like I still had all of those BS belief systems. And you know, you said something earlier which I just want to touch on before we move on from this subject. It's like, even if you're not addicted to any substances, I also was addicted to people pleasing and validation and all these things that hold you back from actually experiencing the infinite self of who you truly are.
Or what about the phobias, like the phobia of rejection, right? Or the phobia of intimacy.
Mm-hmm.
Like I had that strong, and that's why I kept like going through so many different relationships, because as soon as it got a little serious, I was finding a way to get out of there, you know?
Yeah.
But I couldn't see that before. To me, it was just like, she was crazy, you know, or like whatever. Like it wasn't, it was so subconscious and I was so out of my awareness.
Yeah.
So yeah, all these little things that once you put them together, it's completely priceless. But you're not going to be aware of it until you actually have full awareness.
Yeah.
I mean, we should touch on the consciousness scale so they have a reference point.
Yeah.
So 0 to 1,000, the consciousness scale of Dr. Hawkins, and the average person, 80% of the population being under 200. 200 is the level of courage. 100 is the level of fear. When you're talking most people are at the level of fear or under courage, then it's pretty understandable of what 1,000 compared to 100 would be like. There's many different sayings that say, oh, we're only using whatever 10% of our potential or our brains or whatever, however you want to coin it. It's like, imagine 10xing everything in your realm. You're 10xing your awareness. Like, you can't put a price on that. And you're only going to know what was going on when you can see that other 90%.
Really well put. Yeah, I mean, it's like you don't know what you don't know. Yeah. And I like what you said a couple of months ago. It's like, okay, like you're in a little kiddie pool and there's a whole ocean out there.
Yeah.
And so once you jump into the ocean, you just realize how expansive who you truly are. You know,
infinite. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like constant. It's kind of like the universe is constantly expanding, and that's why I keep saying company, but obviously the ecosystem is constantly expanding. Like every day there's something new that's just coming in, and we're just like so passionate about this, and I could obviously see it every day. You're like, dude, something. Like, I'm so excited. And then it's like, I mean, we're really wanting to make this something that is like a home for people. Like, we have everything that you need here, so you can come, plant your flag, and really build this thing. And you can trust on it, and you can count on it that it's going to be here to take care of you, your family, and you can do the things that you really, really are here to do on Earth. So
yeah, true freedom. Like we're down to our last few employees because we're still in that transition of like being corporate. But it's like so obvious how everyone's transitioning now into the ecosystem and getting a passive income stream from building that network of the ecosystem and undestroyable. Like it's just indestructible. Like no one can ever stop it. Just like Bitcoin. That's why it's, going to continue to go up in value. That's not advice to invest in Bitcoin, but just saying. Just saying. But yeah, it is really exciting because it's true freedom. You get the freedom on the consciousness side and the freedom on the currency side. Because I've experienced one without the other, and both suck. Like you got full consciousness but no money. That sucks. And there's people that are in that state.
I know a few.
Yeah, right. Like some spiritual leaders or, you know, monks or whatever. And that wasn't my journey. It was like, no, like I want both, and I'm stubborn too, right? So I was like, when the universe was just trying to give me one or the other, I'm like, no, I want both. I'm holding out, right? And it's the same thing what we were just talking about of having all the money and then the success on the outside, but then living in that low state of consciousness, and that totally sucks too.
That's hell.
That's total hell. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I don't know about you, but growing up, it was like the one thing that I thought would change everything for me was the money. So the journey of getting it was like hopeful because, okay, once I get it, then I'll be good. Then I'll be happy. Then I'll be free, like all that. And then getting it and realizing that wasn't the answer. Well, that's the most depressing thing ever, because the one solution you had in mind your entire life, the whole journey, all the countless hours and effort and energy put into getting there. And then you arrive and you're like, holy shit, this is not it. I know a lot of people like that are just so messed up because they got a bunch of money and it didn't do what they thought it would do. So bringing both together, you know, the consciousness and the currency, so important.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like what Jim Carrey says. He says, like, I hope that everyone can get rich and famous so they can realize that that wasn't the answer.
Yeah, totally.
But obviously, you need both. That's why we created this whole ecosystem. Is like,
You deserve both. Why would there be any limitations?
yeah, there's no limitations at all. You can have it all.
Yeah, 100%.
And something that we've talked about before is like, you know, if you have all the addictions and you get more money, what is it going to do? It's going to amplify all of those things. Now you have more time, you have more money to do all the dumb shit that you were already doing before.
That's the exact reason why 8 different billionaires hired Don.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't because they had all the answers, because they were in the middle of divorce, addicted to drugs, addicted to alcohol, addicted to sex, gambling, whatever, you know, terrified to build their companies, like in a state of phobia. You know, like that one guy, Tim, who couldn't even fly his private jet for 6 months because he was just in a state of terror, like just terrified. Yeah, that's not the answer. But then also being the monk in the mountains with nothing and not really, like, why'd you come to Earth if you're just going to meditate, you know? Like what? Like no purpose, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely combining the two worlds is revolutionary. It's the first time I know that it's ever been done.
Yeah, no, I've never heard of anything like this. And it's funny because right before we came here to Dubai, what were we about to do? We were about to go on the mountains.
Oh, we almost did monk mode. We were so close. It was like monks with Starlink, right? We were like, we'll get the Starlink internet so we can at least broadcast to the world and have some purpose, you know. To tell them and share the downloads that we're getting on the mountain. But yeah, like we were deep in that. Like the mountain was already purchased, like the houses were already being built, and then scrapped it all and said, nope, we're going to Dubai, like the most like business driven city on the planet. That was quite a shift.
Yeah, definitely.
And then launching a network marketing company. So let's launch into the network marketing side of things, because you and I have been in it since we were, I mean, me 16, you 18.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what, almost 20 years for us.
Yeah.
15 years. And most people are just so unaware of what it actually is, or they've had some type of toxic negative experience with many of the different options that you could have had a negative experience with. Let's dive into that, because it really, for me, has been the most exciting part of the ecosystem that's come together. Obviously, Don's program, I've been jacked up about that for 4 years since I took it. I literally wouldn't let him leave my side. Like, I just took him all over the world. So this guy's coming with me because this is a secret weapon. So that's obviously what brings it all together. But on the financial side, shifting from that traditional corporate way and maybe just having a referral program or affiliate program, and then the owner's the only one that gets rich. Even me as the owner didn't feel right about that. right? Like, so just creating this whole equal opportunity playing field. I was talking to you last night saying like, yo, bro, like we're in the same position here. There's no more like, I'm the CEO and you're the whatever. It's like, no, we're both partners in this ecosystem running side by side. And we start in the same place, right? 0 on my left team network and 0 on my right team, like that's where I start. That's where you started. So let's dive into that and how revolutionary that business model is.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are still, they have this false narrative about what network marketing is.
Or they've never heard of it.
Or maybe they've never heard of it.
Yeah.
And if they have heard of it, a lot of the times it's something negative. Oh, it's one of those pyramid things. And
yeah, that's what your boss wants you to think.
Yeah, you just keep on working and he'll get a brand new car.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's because like it's funny because like I also have my corporate leasing business, and
for now,
yeah, I'm trying to figure out ways to kind of dip out of that and just have that on autopilot. But it's like it's crazy because like my employees, like no matter how much they work, even if I give them a raise, they're so capped. But with the network marketing model, like you said, everybody starts off at the same place, and depending on how much you put in and how much value you bring, because you just never know how it's going to work out. Like you can surpass like yourself, like someone that comes in 5 years from now can come in and they can create, more income than you or me.
Mm-hmm.
So what better way? I mean, what more fair of a model can you ask for? At the end of the day, it's like everybody that's coming in, like it's really, I'll say, superior in every way to the traditional model. Like if you think about like real estate, you need $250,000 to put into a house to earn yourself some residual income. But with here, you're just referring a few people to the community, and you can create a residual income that equals or surpasses what you would earn from a real estate investment of $250,000 or more. I mean, and you don't need all the overhead. You don't need to be in a physical location. You could do it anywhere from the world. We're here in Dubai right now. We have teams in the United States, Canada, Mexico, the UAE, Philippines, New Zealand, Greece. Like, how
That's in the first 8 days?
First 8 days. I mean, what kind of business model allows you this kind of leverage?
And speed.
I
remember I had an experience back in 2010. So I was 20 years young, and Monavie, the juice company, was just ramping up. And it's like all they sold was this acai berry juice in a glass bottle. It looked like a wine bottle. It was pretty cool, but it's juice. Like, come on. And that company went from 0 to $1 billion in sales in 3 years, their first 3 years. Like, it had never been done before. They said, oh, it was the fastest growing company in the industry. It's like, no, that's like ever. Like ever, right? And then we're talking about juice.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's because of that duplication, that leverage, that all over the world instantly, like there's just no other faster model. I mean, remember the guy we met here in Dubai at the Crypto Expo, and he built that crypto company in 8 months. He referred 15 people. It turned into 43,000 in his network.
Mm-hmm.
Like, name one other traditional company that does that in 8 months. Like, seriously.
Yeah, no. I've never heard of anything like that before.
Yeah. And then everyone being in business for themselves, but not by themselves. Like, you hear that all the time in the industry, but it's so true because of that support system, and everyone's incentivized to actually help you. In the traditional corporate model, it's like if you and I are executives in the company, we don't want to work together because if I'm in a higher position, I'm terrified that you're going to steal my position if I give you all of my secrets, all my goods. So you get this very competitive atmosphere of people withholding information and not wanting to help. But in the networking model, I want you to outproduce me. I want you to make more money than me because that's growing my network too, right? Like literally as we speak in the first 8 days, both you and I hit the second rank in the plan, but you're closer to the third rank than I am. And I freaking founded the system, right? Like you're about to hit an income higher than I am, faster than me, but you think I'm like upset about it or like withholding information? I'm like, no, fucking run, Sam. Like, because it's like benefiting half of my network, how it's structured. It's just like, how do you get any more fair than that? Really, really exciting model. I mean, Robert Kiyosaki, who's, in my opinion, best financial educator on the planet. He totally changed my life when I read Rich Dad Poor Dad at 13. I ended up dropping out of high school a couple of years later and got into sales like he recommended, because the only thing in a company that makes any money is sales. Mm-hmm. Everything else costs money. Every other position, every other aspect of the company, right? If you learn sales, you instantly become the most valuable player in the system, right? So he taught me to learn that. But he wrote a third book. It was called Business of the 21st Century. And guess what? It was completely about the network marketing business model. And it's like, where else can you start a business for $200? Like you can't even get a license from the government for $200. Like you can't even register your name when it's just an idea for $200. You can't even get business cards for that normally. Like seriously, right? And then network model, you can link up with a company, be a franchise for $200 roughly. It depends on the company, but so then there's that. But then we shift into, we're the very first ones to do the company, get rid of that, and put it all on the blockchain. So now there's no owners or humans or executives that can even get in the way of fucking that up, right? Because as it stands in the industry right now, we have the networking side and the corporate side. Right? Every network marketing company is set up that way. So the corporate side can fuck shit up, right? Because they're humans. And they get greedy and they have egos and whatever. The last company that we built up, a lot of us were free in the ecosystem within a few months. That's how exciting it was. Like we had over 1,000 people in our network within the first 3 months. And the reason that collapsed overnight was because the two partners split up. The one guy got greedy and wanted to create his own company. They had a fight, and next thing you know, he creates his own company and he steals all the top distributors, all the top partners. And so overnight, the whole thing vanished. So you get rid of all that when you put it on the blockchain, and it's all ran by AI automation, and no one can stop it, just like Bitcoin. Like the creator of Bitcoin can't stop it, can't change it, can't do anything with it. We're talking about the kindergarten level for the people that never heard of network marketing or they don't understand it. But now we're talking about the ones that have serious experience in it and know exactly what I'm talking about. Because if you're an MLM leader, how many deals have you done that you only wanted to do one? Like, how many did you do?
Yeah, close to 10. I only wanted to do one.
I only wanted to do one. I probably did 15. No one wanted to restart.
No.
We saw the dream, the concept, the idea. We knew what was possible. We saw examples all around. No matter what company it was, there was tons of examples. That Monavie company, I watched 100 people plus become multimillionaires in that system. And we're talking under 3 years. Like where else do you get that in a corporate?
Never.
Never. So we know it's possible. And again, that was juice. We know it's possible. We know the model works. We've experienced that. And anyone that's had experience as a leader in those systems knows for sure, like the freedom you get, and it's just unmatched by anything. But then negative experience after negative experience, like 10 and 15 roughly. It's like we only wanted to do one. Never wanted to stop, because that first one, or any of them, it was like, wow, like this continues. This is the lowest. This is the worst it will ever be. This is the lowest my income will ever be, because you see the snowball effect of it, right? Mm-hmm. But every single time, humans got in the way and fucked it up. Every single time. And that's that low consciousness we were talking about, which 80% of them are under 200. So there's that side. But then there's the side of, if technology just replaces it, now you don't even need to trust where they're at. Like that's why they call the blockchain system trustless, right? Because like trust isn't even a question anymore. You know.
I also believe, and I know that a lot of those companies just didn't have enough value to really sustain their network, right? It was based mostly off of hype, and the interesting thing here is that, I mean, like each day that goes by, it just gets more and more exciting, as opposed to all the other deals that I've ever done. It's been like, oh, I found something else out. This is less and less exciting as the day goes by, and here it's like, yo, I'm getting more excited as the days go on. Like there's more to be excited about, more value that we're adding in, and we're trying to make it as really as efficient as possible and to give as much value back to the people as possible. So it's really, really exciting to see what's being created, and it's literally only 8 days
I know.
in pre-launch.
I mean, we can argue it's been coming together for years because of all the different experiences and the pieces that we experience. And okay, that's one great piece. Let's take that. And that's the best piece here, and that's the best piece here. Now let's just put it all together, right?
Yeah.
But it's genuine excitement. And I don't want this to sound like an infomercial for our system, but it's like if we were even remotely close of being this excited about anything else, we would have did that. Because I'll tell you, I'd never wanted to be the one to create the whole system and have to do the corporate thing. Like that's the reason I tried 15 different deals. It's like, please let this be the one so I can just focus on building the network and be free.
Yeah.
You know? So if there was anything remotely close, we'd be doing that for sure.
100%.
Yeah. But yeah, genuine excitement and of course, real value. You have two sides of the network marketing industry right now. You got the totally boring products like the vitamins and the protein shakes and the skin creams and the whatevers, which are solid companies, multi-billion-dollar companies, right? So you can trust that they'll be around for a while, the dinosaurs. And then and they're really hard. They're like, that's the slow way to do it too. But then you got the exciting systems that, like you said, are just on the surface level exciting, but they end up just being smoke and mirrors. There's no real substance. They're either straight up scams and just completely lying to the people with an exit plan to steal everyone's money, or they're just like broken products or don't really have a product, and the product is the business model. It's like, how many of those companies do we know of that it's really just a business model and they just slap some bullshit product together?
There's a lot for sure.
Yeah. So I understand, like, for the people who have had negative experience, because it's mostly full of that right now, and crypto's been the exact same way. It's been the wild, wild west, and it's been mostly full of scams and schemes and people that just want to steal your money and they can get away with it, because it's so unregulated and all that. But then you got the real legitimate ones that are using the leading edge technology and creating those smart contracts to get rid of the human factor, like the Bitcoins. I mean, how much money is fueling into Bitcoin right now? The reason is it's the best asset that's ever been created. It's the most reliable, most indestructible, most valuable, most limited supply. Like, you don't get any comparison with any of the other asset classes. The people that are waking up and realizing that, they're putting all their, like Michael Saylor, what a great example. Literally 98% of his company's assets, MicroStrategy, we're talking many billions of dollars, like many. 98% of all his assets and reserves are in Bitcoin right now. And they have been for a while. And he was one of the first to do it. But I mean, he's outperforming every other company right now because of that. It takes education. It takes these conversations for people to wake up to it, because most of it's just propaganda or people just trying to steal their money.
Yeah, we definitely have a better way not an infomercial. We're just sharing the excitement that we've been experiencing for the last 8 days. It's crazy to even say that, but
sounds, yeah. Most people would be like, yeah, we've been doing it for 4 years, whatever. Like make up some, it's truly been 8 days, at least officially, and it's still unofficially.
Yeah,
it's still pre-launch, like the things that are coming together. So it's still like you really gotta just see the vision and see how powerful this is. I mean, the other thing that we can wrap on is we've both been in the investment world for so long, and like everyone knows, I hope that like you need to invest your money, and you need to put it somewhere that's, yes, there's always risk, but there's also at least a potential of high like decent return, right? Because when you compare it to, let's say, inflation, inflation's going up 1% a month. Like your money in the bank account is devaluing at least 1% a month on average. Like the last 4 years have been hyperinflation. So it's like, okay, well, where do I put my money that I'm going to get at least 1% a month to even just break even? Like people don't even realize that. So they have it stashed in their bank account if they have any savings at all. And what are you getting? 0.15%, or, if you're lucky in a different country, maybe 5%, maybe for the year, right? So we've been on that journey, and how many people are just total scams and shams. Like there's a lot of those. But the fact that we've actually onboarded institutional level trustworthy systems into our ecosystem, and then bridged the gap so that the average person didn't need $100,000 or more to be involved with it. We're talking 500 or $1,000 they can be involved. How essential is that? Because there's the entrepreneur side and there's the investor side, and for me, it's like if you only choose one of those, you're doing it the slow route. But you definitely need to do a combination of both if you want to be on the fast track, right?
Yeah, for sure. And I think we have a great system for that. So it's like, let's say you're broke, you just left your job, or maybe you're still working your job, working paycheck to paycheck. And so we have a system for you to start creating some cash flow for yourself. And then, this is what I did. It's like I built a business, started creating cash flow, took that cash flow, started to invest into different opportunities or different investments that could yield me a return. And like you said, 1% a month on, for example, the US dollar is losing 1% every single month in purchasing power. So if you're not investing, you're losing money. You're not able to purchase the same amount. Like after a year, you're losing 12% of your purchasing power. So you need to find a legitimate system that can actually help you to start, like at the minimum, break even on what you're earning.
You need your money to make you money instead of working for your money.
You need to learn how to start to, like in The Richest Man in Babylon. That was a book that I read early on. Is like you need to allow your gold coins, aka money, to be like little soldiers and working for you. Because if not, then you're gonna be constantly having to put time in to earn income.
You're going to be a slave.
You're going to be a slave.
Yeah.
So we have amazing products that are literally led by institutional level traders that are legitimate. They have licenses to invest in these markets. They have proven results. A lot of people may try, and this is something I've seen a lot of the times, is that people will try to invest. They've maybe make an investment or two, and then it goes to absolute shit. And that's just a part of the game. That's just a part of the process. Like you're not going to get a home run every single time. And that's what it takes. Is like failure is just an off route to success. It's just a little detour. So if you keep going, you'll eventually get to that one investment that's going to actually take you to where you need to be. So it's just a part of the process. And the cool thing is we have gone through so many trials and errors. And we're like, okay, this doesn't work. Here, you need to go to these guys that are actually legitimate. They've been doing it for many years. They're managing billions of dollars. And instead of investing with your friend that's living in his mom's basement,
Or Uncle Bob.
Uncle Bob, here, go to these legitimate investors, and you can actually compound your money.
Yeah, and like we're saying, like it's never guaranteed. There's always risk involved, but you're putting yourself in the best chances of success when you're dealing with people that's all they do. Like that's all they've done for a long time. They're experts. And the other thing that most people don't know is these large hedge funds, investment funds, bank systems, whatever, a lot of them, most of them have been using technology, whether it was the traditional algorithms for auto trading or now the AI machine learning algorithms for trading.
Mm-hmm.
So technology is only getting better and better. And it's literally, we're talking about, and this is hard to wrap yourself around if you're working your 9 to 5 and trading your time for money. But seriously, these professional funds are literally multiplying money, just digits on a screen with technology, and they've been doing it for years.
Mm-hmm.
Like imagine that. You're trading all your time for money, living paycheck to paycheck, and then these guys are just flipping money with a robot. Like seriously, that's what's going on.
So I just put myself in the shoes of someone that might. It's so painful.
That's painful to hear. Yeah. The truth hurts, but it'll set you free.
Yeah, no, like you know what I mean. It's like I put myself in the shoes of someone working a job, like, and to even fathom that, you know, it's like how is that possible? Well, you gotta think about it. Money in general right now is just money. It's just numbers on a screen.
Most, yeah.
Yeah, it's like 90% of the whole current money supply is all digital. So it is literally just numbers on a screen. And if the Federal Reserve, and that's a whole other conversation, can just print the money,
there, yeah.
then that's not getting taken off YouTube now. But then why can't you do the same thing? Just multiply money literally out of thin air, utilizing this technology.
If I'm that person, I'm immediately going to think scam.
Yeah.
Right? Like immediately. And fair enough, because 99% of the stuff that we've tested and tried out there is either broken or a straight up scam.
Yeah.
Right? So there's ways to know how to spot that. For example, just last week, I sat with a gentleman. He claimed he had been developing his AI crypto trading algorithm since 2017. Okay, fine. I'll listen to anyone's claims as a neutral party because it's not until I see the results that I know whether it's real or not. Well, I sat with him in person. I had him pull out his Binance account, his crypto, trading account, and I went through the last 2 years, trade by trade, day by day, and I saw the last 2 years of history. The fact that he would even allow me to look, I knew this guy was different. But as soon as I saw the results, I knew what to look for. I'm like, this is legit. He has something here. This is a great place, to start, because we've been developing our own AI crypto bot. And sure enough, in the last week, it's working. It's like, imagine. So the acronym for scam is still confused about money, But we've been working with this stuff for years. But yeah, for the average person, it's like that's way beyond their realm. But that's why I want to talk about it, because the big boys are not sharing this information. They're saying, "Give me your money, and I'll deal with it."
Yeah.
Not telling you that they're just flipping it with their robot in the background.
Yeah, exactly.
But we're telling you because we want everyone to win and have access to that.
They're leveraging your money. Like these banks, you're giving them your money, and they're doing this.
Of course. Not only that, but they have a license to lend out, depends on the jurisdiction, but minimum 10 times. So when you deposit your $1,000, for example, they can give someone else a loan for $10,000. Like they just invented money out of thin air. That's what's going on.
Yeah.
And you're still asking for $10 an hour, $20 an hour, or whatever. Like there's no amount that you could pay me per hour that I would be a slave to that system.
Absolutely not. What we're saying here is let's get the money conversation out of the way so you can focus on things that matter. Get your freedom back.
True freedom. That is what we're here to not only talk about, but actually have solutions and show people how to do it.
I think that's what's different is like we brought up the problem, we given you a solution, that we have a whole system to support that.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can come in, now you get to decide how much you want. I mean, your infinite worth, of course, but how much you want to be paid in our ecosystem. And sometimes I've seen it to where like sometimes it gets out of control to where like whether or not you want, it's gonna start to snowball with or without you, and then you start getting paid.
It does, yeah. The last point I want to make on that is just the only job is to invite people to the system. So whoever invited you to even listen to this conversation, just get back to them. You get their unique link, so they're stamped to you, or vice versa. And we're all building this network together so everyone can win.
Yep. Super awesome.
Awesome having you here today. This has been really cool. We got to definitely do this once a week. Congratulations on the rank up. Very first Connector 500 in the world. So that's awesome. I'm neck and neck with you right now. You're a little ahead of me, so I'm going to put my racing boots on and start running, letting the AI take care of all the corporate stuff.
About time.
Yeah. Let's run this all around the world.
Let's do it.